Hello, and welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host, Maverick. Today, we are starting a new series, Sonny Boy. So, for any of you guys who are new around here, just to give a brief explanation of my channel, I typically always do these videos and divide them into 3 different parts. At the beginning, I will have an introduction or a recap section, which is what I'm going to do in this episode as well. Talk a little bit about this this anime here, some brief information on what to expect, so on and so forth. My middle section will be, of course, my blind reaction, and then finally, I follow it up with what I call my musings section, which is sort of like a review / discussion session. I like to get a little bit deeper into the episode at hand, especially ones where they bring up new concepts, and especially for a series like this one, which is, in fact, even a little bit how can I put it? A little bit philosophical as well, right? And try to break down it a little bit and give maybe some of my own opinions on that. I try to stylize my videos into something more than just, looking at someone's reactions, right? But then, of course, they'll all be timestamped down below, so you can just choose to jump to whichever part you want. Some people stay for the musings section, some people just want to see the reactions, but, it's a free world, right? So, anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this anime, right? Now, people who have already searched for Sonny Boy before, or maybe are subscribers to my channel, might know that actually I already released this video, right, the episode 1 video, a few weeks past. That was when the preview episode 1 actually dropped. I did watch it, I made a video on it. Unfortunately, it got copyright struck, right? So it is what it is, but for any of you guys who are new around here, this means that this first episode is not going to be completely blind, right? I will try to keep spoilers down to a minimum and only discuss them, after the actual episode is over, in my musing section and whatnot, but just bear that one in mind here. So let's talk a little bit about this particular anime, right? Why exactly did I choose to watch this one out of all the others that I could have chosen from this season? So the moment that this anime was announced, now it is an original anime being produced by Madhouse, probably the thing that most people took notice first was in its director, Natsume Shingo-san, which is, who is well known for being the director of One Punch Man, for being the director of the 2019 Boogiepop Never Laugh series, and also for other works like Space Dandy and so on and so forth, right? So a very good repertoire of works under him. And in fact, the thing about Boogiepop Never Laughs is actually important because really a lot of the other cast and staff of this anime is drawn from that. Basically, all 4 of the main characters, if you will, Onishisari, Ichikawa Aoi, Naitoi Ayumi, and of course Yuki Aoi, they are also like main characters from the Boogiepop Never Laugh series as well, and even the sound director Hata Shoji is also the sound director from that work. And indeed, once we get into the episode, you'll find that a lot of the concepts, or maybe not concepts, but the feeling from the Boogiepop series actually carries over to this one as well, right? It's more of a conceptual kind of anime here. Now, obviously, it being an original, we can't really have an idea where exactly it's going, but one thing's for sure, I definitely don't think it's your average shonen fantasy kind of anime, no matter what the genres it has, and so on and so forth. But, so most people were excited for this series due to Natsume-san, and also because actually the staff that were brought in to work on it, a lot of people, I haven't completely confirmed this, but I have heard numerous people saying that the actual production staff that are working on this is actually the same production staff of those from Madhouse that worked on One Punch Man Season 1, right? Which is, of course, known for its incredible animation here. So lots of people have high hopes for this. And when I initially watched the PV for this, I also thought that, okay, this really looks pretty high quality. The art style is quite unique, maybe not exactly something entirely to my taste, but it definitely screams quality, right? And also the theme song is fantastic as well. We are going to hear that in this episode as well. And then, of course, one final icing on the cake is one of my favorite voice actresses, Onishisari, is actually a main character here, so I gotta watch this one, right? Now, bear in mind, I don't actually watch an anime just because my favorite voice actors or voice actresses are in it. I've been burned one too many times by that. A good voice actor or voice actress does not make a good anime. anime, but it definitely is a sort of plus factor when deciding. So all in all, you know, I looked at the PV and so on and so forth. I looked at everything in regards to production, the staff, the cast, and I'm like, okay, I want to give this one a try, right? And so try we will. I think that's all I need to say at this point for the basic introduction. Let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, make sure I'm recording and all that. At noon. August 16th. Alright, my favorite voice actress, Onichi Saori, is voicing this girl here. Chanyeolyoku. So obviously this is just like some exposition at the beginning, setting this up. I actually really like this line, which is in the PV as well. This guy. You know, I think most people would be more inclined to give a pass, considering the unique circumstances around here, but I'm sure this guy's worries about all that plays into part of the character and part of the conflict here as well. Right off the bat, you can kind of tell that this guy is not a simple character, right? Referring to everybody as sheep. I don't think anything changed from the preview episode. But for some reason, I feel like there were a few lines that I don't quite recognize. But then again, it has been like 3 or 4 weeks already. 3 weeks. The Amazon. And this one is also an important character, although we don't see much of her. This one is being voiced by Yuki Aoi. A Line group, of course. Line is the instant communication app that Japan uses. Kind of like WhatsApp and all that. Truly adrift. Now that I think about it, that's actually kind of apt in more ways than one. You know, the fact that he has this star below his eye definitely reminds me of that character from Hunter x Hunter, right? Moro. Or actually, I think most people call him Hisoka, right? Right, 36 people. And look at the very left there. 4 people did not vote. You know, originally because this guy was doing all the talking, I thought he was the student president, but it actually turned out to be that girl. Right. Now, definitely, there's lots of things that you can. There's definitely conflicting opinions that I have about all this, right? And also in this scene. Let's finish this scene first. I mean, while this guy definitely seems like a delinquent and whatnot, but definitely the way that the girl worded that wasn't exactly the most diplomatic of responses. I guess they're rationing. I wonder why, like, there's a merry-go-round in the school, though. She definitely has an attitude, right? Again, I even at this point though, like I'm still like kind of on the fence, right? Because I definitely feel like there's so on one hand, you definitely feel like, okay, these, the three that are in charge here definitely don't give off a vibe of being very benevolent and whatnot. On the other hand, you could also argue that in a situation like this, having everybody just do whatever they want would definitely be anarchy as well, right? I wondered. This is definitely the smart dude, right? Storm hit. Right. And I guess this is earlier during the day? Although they don't actually quite make that clear. I think it's earlier in the day. I think this is actually kind of important as well, though, and which I'll talk a little bit about the end of this episode. I think this scene might, and especially the main character here, right, might have some play an important insight into understanding what this series is actually about. Because even though at this point we know, okay, there's superpowers, they've been kind of isekai'd and whatnot, but You know, it definitely doesn't feel like a shonen battle anime or something of that sort, right? See, 30 years. That's about the time when, you know, you need to prepare, you know, what are you going to do once you graduate, right? Are you going to college? Are you going to work? What are you going to do with your life? And this girl is definitely very free-spirited. Oh yeah, it is. It actually is earlier in the day. Oh, did that strike a nerve? Revolution! This is definitely where things got trippy, right? Like, wow. Who's responsible for this? So maybe that guy's power is this. It seemed that the girl's power was controlling electricity of some sort, but... So the girl's power is exchanging places with an item. Ew. Man, that dude though, that smirk on his face. You definitely do kind of want to slap him though. No confidence. Oh. Yeah, about that. I like how in this same episode we see his butt twice, right? Once when he was in the toilet, and once now. Whoosha. So is that like mass illusions or something? Is that his? You know, originally I thought like the rules on the blackboard was his power, but apparently not, right? Right. Good question. I had the exact same question as well. And that's definitely some weird arms flailing around, isn't it? Talk about leap of faith, eh? Leaping into the nothingness. Oh. Hey! Right, and then here we have the main theme song, which is awesome, by the way. Oh, somebody's pissed. So once you take the leap of faith, the entire world becomes colorful. Is that the moral here? Not really sure, right? Right. So anyways, this song here, I believe is the main theme song, so it's probably going to be the opening at the beginning of the second episode. Shonen Shoujo. Young boys and girls. I guess younguns, right? Alright, so that's the first episode. I'll see you guys after this. Alright, so there we go, that was the first episode of Sonny Boy. So, really quite the interesting kind of premise here, right? And throughout the entire episode, really, it's hard to get a grasp on what exactly it's trying to be, you know, what exactly is the story trying to convey and whatnot. I mentioned that even from the very beginning, you know, just from the way that the entire story was set up, from the way the characters talked and whatnot, it really did not seem like your normal, just isekai, you know, superpower entire kind of fantasy kind of series, right? So, you know, you definitely get some of that kind of boogie pop kind of vibe where it's a lot more conceptual and perhaps even philosophical, right? There's a lot of emphasis being placed on the words, you know, the dialogue here, and as well as the facial expressions. You know, there's lots of silence being used as well, and so on and so forth, right? So, first of all, let's talk a little bit about this entire thing, though. Now, I guess for one, we can take a look at the more concrete stuff that have been shown this episode, such as the superpowers. Certainly, I think it's clear that we see, you know, some people exhibit their superpowers here, like, and some of them are really flashy, like this entire dimensional changing thing, like flipping the entire school and flipping it into multiple sides and whatnot. That's pretty cool. You know, we have the power of the student president who's able to switch up with different objects and whatnot, so, some sort of like teleportation ability, only you need to switch places with an actual thing, and perhaps a person, don't really know. I'm sure that will delve deeper into like the sort of technicalities of their superpowers eventually, right, if it actually does play an important part in the story as well. Now, definitely the biggest thing here, though, and the biggest question is, what exactly are the rules, right? Who made the rules? Is that something that's exhibited from a specific superpower or not, right? So originally I thought that those were actually the powers of that Hoshi dude, you know, the one who literally has a Hoshi, right, a star underneath his eye and whatnot. But you know, later on in this episode, we kind of see that it seems his power is some sort of mass illusion, right? That perhaps, don't really know like the extent of his ability as well, but he certainly showed, you know, like death to all his classmates and whatnot, right? So there's that, but beyond that, I think it's still ambiguous as to right now, like, who actually makes the rules. Is it just a byproduct of the place that they are in or whatnot, you know, this current world, and if so, how did he figure it out, and so on and so forth, right? Now, definitely, you kind of think of this setting right now, and it has some of that Lord of the Flies kind of vibe to it, right? Or Animal Farm kind of vibe to it, which is where, you know, you have this group of kids, and you just put them somewhere, you know, give them powers, and without any kind of adult supervision and whatnot. What exactly is going to happen here, right? Throughout the entire episode, I was actually kind of torn on which side I lean towards more. Now, obviously, we have our main characters here, right? Nagara, the guy, and Nozomi, the girl, the free-spirited girl. Obviously, they're the main characters, so we're supposed to side with them. But at the same time, I can kind of see where the student council is coming at, right? Like, consider the situation. You are suddenly mass teleported into some place. You know, you don't know anything. It seems that there's no kind of outside, no kind of outside communication. There's nothing outside either. You know, if you want to survive in this situation, you gotta do something, right? If everybody just goes around and does whatever they do, well, you know, they're all gonna perish, right? Like, you need to take stock of what supplies you have, and it needs to be fair. Everybody needs to get a fair share. You can't just go around hoarding, or like one guy just take all the rations and all the food, and then the rest are left to die or something of that sort. So it does help to have some sort of plan here, right? And indeed, originally, right, from the original way it was set up, it seemed kind of fair, right? It was a democracy. Everybody had input and whatnot. They chose a leader. The leader enacted out the rules, and I guess maybe they could have done a better job at involving everybody in terms of making the rules and whatnot, but still, by and large, you would think that, okay, it actually does make sense for them to have this kind of system here, right? But definitely, it seemed that, you know, it definitely seemed that, especially Cap, for instance, he definitely let it go to his mind a little bit. The student president, you know, she certainly was not exactly speaking to people in the most pleasant of ways, in the most polite of ways. And that Hoshi dude, right, he literally just straight up says that, yeah, all these students are a bunch of sheep, right? You know, their opinions are not important, just need somebody to lead them, and you know, just to lead this bunch of clueless sheep. And you know, it's literally the meme, right? Wake up, sheeple, or something of that sort. So they can't really be viewed as entirely benevolent as either, but definitely you don't really want to go around and be like that Asakaze guy, right? Who, you know, seems like a delinquent. I'm sure that probably he's a nice guy or something of that sort. You know, it's gonna turn out that's simply how these series go. But, you know, going around, breaking windows, doing whatever they want, it definitely doesn't seem to be a viable long-term plan, right? But I do feel that perhaps they are going to go this route and talk a little bit about, like, you know, human nature, basically. What happens to humans? What happens to their priorities? What do they value? Bring out the good side, the bad side of humanity in this kind of situation where it's, in essence, some sort of a survival situation, right? Some kind of survival island situation, and you need to work together to survive. You know, the politics that come into play, the power balance that comes into play. It could go for this kind of story, right? However, I do feel that, you know, looking at the main character, which is, again, Nagara, right? I'm assuming that he's the main character here, right? We see the context here, right? This is the third year of high school, and he clearly has some issues, right? No, maybe not like literal like depression or you know, psychological issues or whatnot, but he doesn't seem, you know, he seems kind of like unsure of the future here, right? It doesn't seem like he has any spark in his eyes in regard to the future or whatnot, and you know, I think the idea that this is actually set in the third year of high school is very important as well. There's this concept in anime and manga and light novels, actually, where, you know, I think many people should have wondered this at one time or another. Why are all of these, you know, the main characters of these anime, these shonen works or whatnot, why are they all high schoolers or mid-schoolers, right? Why do you rarely get a series where the main character is actually set as a you know, someone who's in college or somebody who's working or whatnot? Don't get me wrong, there are these kind of situations, but, you know, it's far and few between, and indeed a lot of those actually, you know, in recent years they've basically all been isekai'd into a situation where they don't need to have any of those responsibilities anymore, because that is the important thing here, right? High school represents like this cutoff point when you can still have these dreams, still have these fantasies of going on these kinds of adventures, because it's at a time where you still don't really have to take full responsibility of your own life, right? You're still not yet an adult, and so that's why there is this kind of concept of a you know, there's these concept of coming of age anime, right? Like, take a look at Monogatari, take a look at Bunny Girl Senpai, and you know, works such as those, which deal with the sort of adolescence problems, the mental problems that teenagers face whilst they are transitioning into this adult period of their life, right? It's a common theme in a lot of works as well. And so I do wonder, you know, in regards to this work, maybe it's dealing more with this kind of psychological kind of side as well. Maybe, like, you know, just to put something completely out there, maybe the entire reason that this school is now been isekai'd into this weird world might be entirely a manifestation from Nagara, right? That could be a possibility, right? Especially, you know, in these situations where the main character says, "Oh, I don't have a power," whereas we are clearly in an anime in a setting where everybody has superpowers. It definitely leaves you wondering, right? His power must be something that's completely off the charts or completely unthinkable in some sort of way. So I do wonder if mind you guys, this is all speculation, and since this is an original anime, I can't really spoil anything, right? This is just pure speculation on my side. I wonder, maybe this is a sort of like a second chance for Nagara, right? For him to sort of sort out his own internal issues, his own psychological issues and whatnot, through these kinds of situations, through meeting Nozomi, through meeting others as well, and gradually gaining a sense of worth and a sense of direction as to his own future, and then finally, you know, get done with high school and go into the world, right? Whether it be college or work or whatever it is. So you definitely think that you know, there's this kind of thing as well. And another important clue here might be like that dialogue that Nozomi and Nagara had at the end there, right? Right before Nozomi ran off into the darkness for her leap of faith, which is, she asked Nagara, right? Are you a dandelion or are you a sunflower? Are you someone who just stays rooted and looks longingly at something that you want, or are you a dandelion and you actually run towards whatever it is that you actually want, right? And so I kind of get the feeling that perhaps combining this with what I just said, perhaps it's not even a situation where Nagara doesn't really know what he wants. Maybe he knows what he wants. It's just that what he wants is not exactly what society or his family or his peers, his teachers, whatnot, expect of him, right? That could also be a possibility here. So just throwing things out here, thinking about like what exact kind of story, wider, bigger, holistic story that we can expect from this. It could go the route where we're looking at human nature and the dynamics of human nature. It could go the route where we're trying to explore coming of age and what it means to be an adult and so on and so forth. Or it could also be a mix of these, right? So these are all just some food for thought. And by the way, this is going to be like a continuing thing in going forward as well for me. Especially, I feel like this is fit especially well for my musing section, right? A series like this one where we can sort of try and work out these kind of things, and there's numerous things to talk about, right? And so that's what makes these series kind of fun, and it being original definitely adds to that as well, because nobody can spoil things, right? You gotta think for yourself here. Definitely early on, well, Nozomi is definitely quite the treat, right? I do feel like maybe she's a little bit too free-spirited in a lot of sense, but I do feel like the sort of imagery that they're trying to portray at the end of this first episode is also quite clear as well, right? Even though there is this darkness around, right? It's completely unclear, it's uncertain. Nozomi was the one who was like, okay, I don't want to stay just stranded here in this school, with these rules and whatnot. I want to break free. I'm going to take this leap of faith. I believe that is where my future is. So I run towards it, shatter darkness, and hey, it's a colorful world, right? Maybe a little bit on the nose, to be honest, but, let's see, right? Let's see how exactly this develops on. Because certainly, you can't always expect to do something like this and for it to never go wrong, right? So we'll have to see how exactly they kind of build up the story, and do they have these sort of consequential actions with consequences as well, right? So yeah, there we go. That's it for the first episode. So once again, I'm sorry that it couldn't be entirely blind, but it is what it is. From the second episode, from next week forwards, it will be a truly blind reaction and whatnot, and hopefully you guys will be along for the ride. So anyways, this has been the first episode of Sonny Boy. You're watching Musings with Maverick channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.